Hey folks, how you doing there? It's gonna be Friday, March 4th. And this is gonna be titled Those Things, Those Deals You Just Simply Cannot Walk Away From. Case in point, there's a dollar store, kind of, secondhand place. Read like, put your crap in the bin in the shopping center and it winds up at these places so the nonprofit guys can make a couple bucks. Every once in a while, you go through there and you will find just gold. I mean, once in a blue moon, and you really got to be like, you got to hit it consistently, okay? You got to hit it consistently. So I go in there and I find, of all things, this. Now, what is this? Well, if you guys know the thing. What you wish to do is you look at any of these old Tascos, and I'm definitely saying, let me play my focus here. Any of these old Tascos, if you look at the eyepiece, it will state where it is from. It is black on black, so it is a couple shades off of black, another kind of black, so literally like a black paint that they put on there to show definition. So literally what this thing says is it says WA, so I'll read Whiskey Adam, 416 or 416 by 40-1, made in Japan. Or it just says Japan, AO, I think it's 63T, and then patent pending. Now what that tells me, this is an older Japanese adjustable objective Tasco scope, like in the good range, like back in the early 80s. These things were made exceedingly nicely. Now, looking out my window, the glass on it is just phenomenal, okay? What else is kind of cool about this? Well, of all things, it's got, hopefully you guys are seeing that, it's got the Stony Point adjustment knobs that are just hard as hell to find now because they've been discontinued. Now, there is actually Chinese, it's scary how close they look too, but the paint's not exactly quite right. There is Chinese copies of the Stony Points that are currently on eBay. Problem is, most times Chinese execution sucks. It is just not good stuff. So literally all these things it's just a knob with a shaft, and it actually does a hex screw so you can adjust the zero to get it back to square again. And literally all it is a shaft that's spring-loaded, and it's like a screwdriver blade that goes into the coin slot of the windage and elevation adjustments on this. So it converts a standard scope to have target-style turrets, to adjust the stuff without having to unscrew the cap, play with it. You can actually do it on the fly. To a degree. You screw it in too far and it actually jumps out of the screwdriver blade and it won't go any further. But for what it is, these things are cool tech. Also came with an okay set of rings, and by and large, it is not exactly in the best of conditions, but mechanically, everything I've seen so far says it still works. Now, the funniest damn thing is people don't know how to work an adjustable objective. I picked the thing up, and it was blurry as all get out. So I'm sitting there, and this one chick walks up. She's like, oh, that thing's nice. This, that, and the other thing. I was like, that's nice. I'm buying it. Even without knowing it was dead square, I still told this other chick, basically walk away. I'm buying this thing. So literally, the objective focus was completely out. I mean, I literally had the thing screwed way the hell out, so I had to screw it way the hell back in and get it back out to normally what I'll do is I'll run it out about 4 turns, and I'll lock it down, and that will be my starting point. It'll get the crosshairs just sharp enough to play with. Then, what you have to do is you take the objective and you screw till it hits the end of the travel. That is one direction. What you're doing the whole time when you're doing this is you're looking at a distant object, and you're trying to get a feel for how far away it is. Now, there was something I knew was about maybe about 100 yards away, and that was something to get as a baseline, and I played with it, got it locked in. Case in point, I picked this thing up for $20, $19.99 plus tax, so $21 and change. I could not walk away from this thing. This thing was absolutely, had to come home with me, even if it's not hanging on one of my rifles I turn over on eBay, it's a $70 to $90 scope. Good purchase. Second thing I had is I went to one of the gun shows, and I believe this gun show was out in PA. It's one of the ones I really hadn't gone to very often, but of all things, I ran into Firearm Pop, Vinny Sorrentino. I actually ran into Firearm Pop and saw him, met up with him, and said hey and talked for a while and what have you. But I went there and I found, of all things, an aerosol can of Break Free. Now, the other thing too is you have to look for which Break Free this is, okay? Now, I couldn't walk away from this one because the can was $6. Here's the other reason I couldn't walk away from this can. Manufactured by Break Free Incorporated, 1035 South Linwood Ave, Santa Ana, California, 92705. Okay, now this is huge, okay? Those people who are in the service know this smell. This is the old school, old formula with Teflon break-free CLP that is not made anymore because Safariland bought break-free. Now, of that, the military contracts and such, I think, are still in place, and they have modern formulations where they say it works so much better than the old stuff. The old stuff still works. The biggest difference between the new stuff and the old stuff is the old stuff has more C. It is a better, cleaner than the new stuff. Yes, the new stuff has better lubricity. Yes, the new stuff has, added tweaks. They basically tweak the molecule to go better in the pores of the metal, and, they did stuff to it to make it work better. But it's still missing the C. It doesn't clean nearly as well as the old school break-free CLP. So for $6, and the other thing too is this being an aerosol can, there is no breakdown. Literally, every time you squirt it out, that's the first CLP that's seen air in who knows how long. The can still has air. Now here's the thing, people are going to go, well, what are you going to do, dude, when the thing stops squirting? Well, what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to poke a hole, let out the pressure, and dump it out into another container. I do have actually archived the 1 pint bottles of CLP. I've got a couple of those. So literally, I have 3 of these things now, and the contents on this thing was 12 ounces. So it's 12 ounces of old school CLP. Every time I squirt it, it is going to be exactly that which I need to run, gun, and do everything I need to do. And let me tell you, man, this stuff really, truly is the old school stuff. I squirted it on the tracks and the wheels and basically loosened up the chain on my my garage door because it was kind of squeaky. This stuff kicks ass. Literally, my garage reeked for 4 or 5 days with this stuff. That is the old school CLP, man. The old school CLP stinks. And it's, well, if you like the smell, you like the smell. If you don't like the smell, you're going to go to something else. Trust me, I like the smell of CLP. Every time I went in that garage, it was like a flashback time to go, oh yeah, Marine Corps, hoorah. All right, folks, I'm going to break up on this one. Eat good, keep the centering as always. You know it, you love it. But scout around and find yourself some deals you can't walk away from. And if they're that good, don't walk away. Buy it. You'll regret it if you don't. On that one, folks, I'll see you guys.